What's your guys' thoughts about drafting offensive lineman round one? If it's a guard slash tackle hybrid, so we have 5 minimum years and a potential successor to Orlando Brown Jr.
Draft is for the future. Free agency is for the now.
In terms of offensive lineman, I'm probably going to be, I don't want to say annoying about it, but I'm very high on the idea of drafting an offensive lineman in the first round, guard or tackle. Obviously, that's depending on if the edge players we specifically want aren't there.
From my understanding is they want a veteran. They want veteran guards. They want people that have done it, right? So for me, from my thought process is, I don't know if guard will be the best position available at that point in time, especially because you hope that you tackle that spot in free agency. So therefore, it's not a pressing thing. But I understand where you're coming from because it is, if guard is like of a Tate Ratledge, are you drafting Tate Ratledge that early? I mean, if the guy tests like a freak, if he kills at the combine, maybe he moves up draft boards. But I got to think in my mind that there might be somebody on that defensive line that might shock you. There might be a defensive back that might really get you going. I don't know. I just think that it makes a lot of sense potentially to literally scour the entire field. I just don't know if I don't know if
there's a lot of good tackles.
I struggle with let me just say this. I struggle with guard because the philosophy has to change from an organization standpoint. And look, I hope you understand where I'm leveling right now. Like their philosophy really has to change from the guards because they can't look at the guard spot like, yeah, we got a guy for 5 years and then he's gone. That's a fucked way of looking at it. You can't think about it that way. Don't draft a guy if you don't see him being here past 5 years, or if you're not willing to compete for his services in 5 years. Don't do that because that is such a piss poor. That's how you build bad relationships. That's how you literally draft with the intention that this guy could be a part of your franchise for the future. The Bengals are the only team that is like, yo, we just are not going to pay guard. It's weird.
Yeah, but specifically for the offensive lineman and my whole reasoning for it, there's essentially 5 offensive linemen that would be totally comfortable drafting in the first round, and all of them play tackle. And the reason I like the idea so much is because drafting that tackle allows you to, one, upgrade the guard spot immediately. You can ease them into the NFL, make their life a little bit easier, transition them into the guard for a year, allow them to get their feet wet in the NFL. And then next year, when Orlando Brown's a free agent, you're not the odds of, I don't want to say the odds of us re-signing him feel slim because we don't truly know how the year is going to go, how things are going to unfold. But now you're ahead of the curve of having another offensive tackle under contract for 5 years that has proven, that has good numbers in college production. You got them a little bit of experience in the NFL. Now, boom, they can come in and take over a tackle. That's obviously looking a little bit more down the road, but I think it's one of the, I don't want to say it's one of the few picks. Obviously, all the defensive linemen make so much sense. Yeah. And I will never argue offensive linemen over them. But drafting an offensive lineman, specifically a person that can play guard now and then move over and go back to tackle 2 years from now, makes your team better in 2024. It'll probably make your team better in 2025 and so on because you're saving money. You have a tackle, but you're still raising the floor and the upside of your offensive line next year. And that's what it's all about. There's going to be edge players. There's obviously going to be offensive linemen you can do the same thing with down the line, but I just think it's more of there's more reason to it and there's more logical pathway to doing it. And I think just people just give it credit for.
Yeah, and
if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it because I'm all for a debate now, brother. And I'm all for a debate. I'm not against it. The fact of the matter is, whoever are those 2 starting guards for the Bengals next year, more than likely going to be 2 veterans. I think that's the point that I'm coming from. Like, it's what we think they should do. And we've been talking about them drafting offensive linemen, interior offensive linemen for the last couple of years. It's just not what they do for whatever reason. So my thought process, hell yeah, if there's a standout offensive lineman that's standing there, that's smacking them dead in the face, draft the guy. But I deal in the world of reality. And the way I view it, listen, I think that when we're talking about best player available, how likely is a guy like Will Campbell going to be actually sitting there staring you in the face? He's not going to probably be there.
No.
Right? But to me, I've watched this team pass up on quality offensive linemen time and time and time again to their point where they're like, we're sick of drafting offensive linemen. We're just going to add in free agency. And now they're telling every reporter and everybody who is even within earshot of the team, hey, we're gonna draft and we're gonna sign offensive linemen. We're gonna change how we do business. That we're gonna really go after and try to fix the interior of the offensive line. Sure, we'll see. Because then when it comes time to bid for those services, are you actually going to do that? Because that's what you're selling people. That's what you're telling the Kelsey Conze of the world. That's what you're telling the James Payne. That's what you're telling the Malik, right? That's what you're saying all this stuff, right? But the fact of the matter is, are you actually going to go out there and do it respectfully? Because guess what? Saying, hey, you know what, we're going to add interior offensive lineman in free agency, and then going out there and proceeding to add a guy that's ass, or not add a Tevin Jenkins, or not add a Mekhi Becton, right? Or not add a Will Freese.
I think there needs to be like a, and there probably will be with the looming circumstances of the coaching staff next year, let's just say.
Yeah.
I think there will be more of an emphasis placed on the immediate future the next year or two, right? And hopefully that means instead of taking guys like Jackson Carman, who are bad and had bad tape and didn't look good, and saying, well, you know, in 2 or 3 years, we can make him into a good player. They instead look at guys like Christian fucking Mahogany that we said every round from 3 through 6 until he finally got picked. And now, oh, he's filling in for the Detroit Lions and he looks fucking incredible. And he's played 150 snaps and has an elite grade. Like, wow, that's so great. But going like, oh, well, he has a degenerative knee issue and he might not make it to his second contract. Like you said, if you're not even going to pay your guards on the second contract, why are you worried about that? Why are you going, let's take the bad player and we'll make him good, instead of saying, hey, we'll take the good player and hey, maybe he makes it 3 years, maybe he makes it 6 years, but we never had the intention of paying him market value anyways.